The Blocktalk podcast started because of my passion for the property management industry. I wanted to start a conversation and add some value within the industry with a diverse range of people and professionals who can add something extra. As we start out, my aim is that the podcast offers some useful insight into a variety of views, opinions, thoughts, and foresights from our guests, who include business leaders and industry experts. If you enjoy the podcast and want to find out any other information, head on over to brianwelsh.co.uk. Today our guest is Alec Rose. I know Alec reasonably well. We talk quite a lot. He's a strategic partnership manager at Blink Payments. Alec has been working within partnerships for the last 5 years across financial services at Lloyds, Mambu, a FinTech platform, I hope I said that right, and more recently delivering payment solutions to the market at Pay360 and Blink. CPL have been partnered with Blink for about 2 years. And over last year, Alec and myself have been looking to work closely together to help CPL clients with payment solutions and from lowering costs, basically, point of view. Away from his day-to-day role, Alec joins and shares with me the pain of being a long-suffering Scottish rugby fan. It's not easy, is it?
Again, Brian, I lost you.
Sorry, I said it's not easy being a Scottish rugby fan.
Oh, no. I mean, the Calcutta Cup sits in Edinburgh nicely every year, right? But the rest of it's pretty dire stuff. It's not the most enthusing off the back of a World Cup and an average Six Nations campaign again. But, we look forward, optimism. Let's keep going, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, 3 at home this year and 2 away. I was in Italy for the Scotland match at the beginning of the year or earlier in the year. And I have to say I was there with much anticipation, probably as much anticipation as I had when I was there a few weeks earlier to thinking Italy were going to beat England, actually, because Italy looked very, very strong. But I did not see that Scotland one coming. I mean, but what a stadium it was. It was phenomenal, actually. So, yeah. No, I'm thinking of maybe going to Twickenham next year. That would be enjoyable, actually. So.
Don't break the curse. Don't bring a bad omen,
Yeah. I don't say that, because now if I go, you'll blame me. Right. Anyway, how are you? You well?
I'm well, yes. Thank you for inviting me on. Like you said in the introduction, we've been working closely for almost a year now. Been building the products, the features, helping the CPL clients. So, pleasure to be here and hopefully reaching more ears and bringing more business into the pair of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it has been good as well. I mean, I don't think there's any client I've passed your way that you haven't been able to save some money, and it's not all just about saving money, but you haven't been able to do that as well. Okay, so let's kick off. Tell me what your role, or tell everybody what your role that you do is involved that you do at Blink.
Yeah, sure. So the partnerships team really at Blink, it's about extending our services to businesses that have clients who require better payment solutions, essentially. Today, we work with approximately 85 different partners referring business to us. Around sort of 12 of those are integrated. And what I mean by this is our payment solutions can be integrated with the availability of our APIs, so they can sit directly into the business's software management system. So we have this integration in place today with CPL. And for us, really, that's now our main focus. So as a partnerships team, we're looking to build payment gateways, simple solutions within the software management system so that clients can have a complete end-to-end feature when they're managing their customer interactions and being able to accept payments from within software.
Yeah. Okay. And your role specifically is managing those relationships with those partners, I presume.
Yeah, my role is to head up the team here. We're a team of 4 within the partnerships team, and it's a case of going out to market, finding new partnerships, new software companies, and sort of showing the features that can be brought into those companies and really how we can help their merchants. A lot of the partnerships we have, naturally, they're not payments companies themselves. They're offering a very special service. Yourselves, you're offering the software to property managers. Payments is something that comes into that, but it's not something you offer. And so for us, it's about building those bridges and saying, look, we specialize in payments. Would we like to have that mutual partnership where you guys can focus very well on what you've got? We can focus on providing the solutions that we have and have those mutual clients together.
Cool. So let's talk about a wee bit more about that kind of service then. Tell us a bit about Blink. Where did Blink start? Why did Blink start?
Yeah, Blink's been running in the UK market now for around about 12 years. And we essentially started, and you can still term us with this, we're a payments ISO, which is an independent selling organization of the larger kind of card acquirers in the market. So people will know WellPay, Elavon, Barclaycard. And these large acquirers, they license ISOs to essentially sell their card acquiring to businesses. So we started with that, guys, very much selling purely just acquiring and card terminals and that setup. Around the kind of COVID time, like a lot of businesses, we pivoted, we changed our kind of strategy and what we wanted to take to market. And rather than just reselling the acquiring solution, we've built much more of a technology wrapper and layer around our services. So we've added the gateways, we've added the functionality, the solutions, and what we came out with that time is the Blink platform. So the Blink platform is it's a very slick tool for businesses to access. All of our merchants sign up with us in the card acquiring, get access to the Blink platform. From there, they can generate payment links for invoices. They have a virtual terminal for things like taking PCI compliant payments over the phone. You can upload batch reporting, very simply add a large database of clients that you need to take payments from on a monthly basis, submit that, and it will automatically generate those links. And also, a key component for us, and we know this with businesses today, is the reporting, how you see your transactions, how you see the payments that are going through, those that are, pending, those that are cancelled, those that are approved and processed. And within the Blink platform, you get access to that, and you can see all of your transactions in one place, and you can download those reports as frequently as you'd like, and also push those into your accounting software. So for us, it's about offering as many channels of accepting payments to help businesses and make it simpler and help businesses get paid faster, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I don't know. I can't remember where. In fact, I think the link actually with you guys came from another software company that I used to have, and then we started chatting to you. And one of the biggest things for us was we spoke to one payment gateway, and then our clients went off to get their own acquiring. But everyone was complaining it was very, very expensive. I think that's where we came in from. Certainly the first link came to you guys. So let's have a conversation about how Blink benefits property management companies.
Yeah, definitely. I think today we've got a really sort of strong base of property management clients. I would say the main benefit for these merchants is really seeing the trust that a payment of £500 can be taken from a tenant today, and the next working day that £500 will be in their business account. It's incredibly commonplace in the property management sector that businesses they'll have a multitude of different systems they're using to stay on top of their operations, and for us really it's about providing simplicity. It's whether that's connecting into their software management, as I've spoken about, or providing an end-to-end service. If we take, for example, a merchant accepting payments over the phone today, they may have a member of their accounts team sat on the phone, manually entering a customer's card into the card terminal and then generating a separate receipt for that customer, marking this transaction as paid on another system. What we're looking to provide within the platform that I've discussed is all of that functionality. So the payment can be collected by a payment link or over the phone directly. The receipts are generated automatically to the tenant's email address. And then, as I've just mentioned, those records of payment transactions, they can be reconciled automatically within their accounting software as well. Yeah. I think it goes without saying, property management businesses that we work with, they've maybe been with their payment provider for a number of years. We see that quite a lot with property management companies when we speak to them. They maybe have been with WorldPay for 10 years or Barclaycard for 10 years because that's who they bank with and that's the relationship that they've had. And I think when we look at it, it's they haven't really reviewed that kind of exercise like they would any other system that they have. They've kind of just stuck with it and just said, it works for us, it's fine. But payments, like anything, it's changing. It's not just simply accepting card payments just through a terminal anymore. There's a lot of technology solutions, and there's a lot of competition out there. And for us, it's about, you mentioned earlier, it's about, there's an element of it in terms of saving money. We don't want it to become a race to the bottom all the time. But it's worth, frequently looking into your payments operation and going, when was the last time we reviewed this? When was the last time we looked at the costs of accepting a payment? Because they can gradually increase if you've had a contract with your acquirer just sitting there running and ticking over year by year. It's very much like anything, really, a home insurance contract, a phone contract that someone has. You just ignore it, it automatically keeps increasing. And, for us, it's about that sort of consultation with them. It's looking at them saying, have you got the right solutions in place? Are you compliant with how you're taking payments? And also, is it cost effective? Is it efficient and cost effective for you? So that's really what we're looking to do in the property management space. But you can delve into sectors, but ultimately it's payments at the end of the day, and customers are used to making payments across everything that they do day to day. Businesses are accepting payments. It's about It's about having the right solution. How do our customers want to pay us, and providing that. And if you do that and you understand that, then you're going to get paid faster. It's going to help your revenue line. It's going to help your cash flow, and ultimately, hopefully, help your cost line as well.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's interesting actually, because we now fully integrate with Blink platform, and we use it for payment gateway as well as, and then obviously acquiring from there. And one of the big things for us is to make sure that our clients are PCI compliant, so that we pass the kind of payment making part of the journey onto technology that you supply, because that's something that you guys understand. And why would software companies go and try and generate that sort of stuff themselves? Because it's not their core business. So partnering with someone like Blink was a kind of bit of a no-brainer for us to then find another provider. The great thing about you guys as well for us is I can phone you if we've got a challenge, and then or Will can call your head of product if we've got a challenge. Whereas with other payment gateway providers, it's just not something we can do. It's just I don't even know how I'd try and get a hold of the payment gateway provider we used to use from a support point of view. So yeah, I mean, from that alone gives us a lot of trust and a lot of confidence that things will work. So good. All right. So when it comes to choosing a payment provider, what are the three things you'd say property management companies should look out for?
Yeah, I think we touched across a couple of them there already. But first thing, and it's critical for any sector again, is the solution fit for how my customers want to pay me, basically, as a business. We see many property managers still accepting BACS transfers or bank-to-bank transactions, which is fair enough, as it's a free service to collect those payments. However, when you switch it and you put the customer's shoes on, and ourselves as customers making BACS payments, you can see that as a real chore. You receive a statement or an invoice with an account number and a sort code. You've then got to go into your bank account. You've got to set this up as a new payee. I think when we're as customers, we're generally transacting on smartphones, the BACS journey is one that really kind of puts people off doing something and paying you when they need to be paid. And this in turn means that businesses are sat there waiting to be paid, and in turn they're spending time and money maybe chasing these payments. I think if we look at different channels, the customers really want to phone my business and make a payment, or could we look at having a better solution, and could we reduce spent and send a link out so that a customer can make that transaction with Apple Pay or Google Pay, depending on their phone, 1 minute later. I think there's so much kind of choice out there now, and we really shouldn't be looking to sort of move businesses away from just sending out these manual sort codes and account numbers to be entered in and paid at a later date, and also relying on sort of card terminals, when really there's a lot of options out there for having that better user experience online that ultimately means that businesses will get that payment off a customer quicker if it's really how they want to pay. Secondly, again, we touched on it a little bit. Cost. Of course, payments is an operation to run a business, and it's worth knowing that you're getting the right solution at the right price. There's an abundance of competition across the payments sector, and property management companies, in our sort of experience, they can sort of forget that and they stick to household names. When in fact there's a lot of innovative payment startups with processes running behind them that are in fact sometimes more robust than some of these legacy household names. Really, and it's worth looking out there in the market beyond these big companies that, as you just mentioned, don't always have the best support features in place. And then, the third aspect, I suppose, really is the question property managers should ask themselves when choosing a payment provider, and it's is this going to make us more efficient? Are we going to have to monitor lots of different systems to check if we've received a payment? Are we going to have to pay, maybe 3 different monthly statements? Are we going to have to look to manually configure our reporting against our bank records to show our revenue? Again, with the legacy players, all of these are still quite common aspects where some of the newer players, such as ourselves, have maybe done the hard work, and for example, with our platform to manage your payments, see your transactions, and push these into your accounting software, whilst really only having one statement from us each month, should be seen as the benefits of time saving and resource dependency within each business. But I suppose that's from our side of the coin. Working with property managers, you work with property managers day in, day out. So what's your sort of experience in terms of the conversations, especially maybe some of those businesses you've sent over to us where you're saying, okay, this is your problem, go and speak to Blink?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's very much around what do you interface with, so and how do you interface to different products, and that was what the beauty of the payment gateway integration piece that we just did, because it means that we can put someone onto someone who can provide everything. Yeah, you get one bill, because previously they'd get obviously a bill from WorldPay and you get a bill for a payer, which is the previous one. Well, we still interface with it, but not massively going forward. So there's that aspect of it, that you're getting bills from multiple people, and obviously if you're a lower usage person, then some of these contracts have minimum costs. Yeah, so you may not, by the transaction rate, have gone to that minimum cost, but you have to pay it anyway. So that's certainly a plus. And your platform for people to view things as well has always been a big thing. A big selling point, a big thing that people are looking for, to be able to see all the transactions in one place. I think you're right. Most people, it's like, I just got my car insurance quote through. I have my kids' cars and a couple of company cars on my insurance policy, and it had gone up by a chunk of money. Now I don't use a broker. I use a company that can do multiple cars. And I phoned them up and I said, look, this has gone up by X. And they were like, okay, we can chop that up. I got about 15 to 18% saving by just making a phone call. Okay? It would have auto-renewed at that bigger price had I not made that phone call. And I think that, for me, unless you're actively managing it, but it becomes a fixed cost. And actually, that cost possibly, depending on the amount of transactions go through a property management business, might not actually be that high, or it's an accepted fixed cost within their expenditure. So, and they don't look at it. So, and to me, now, don't get me wrong, cheap is not always best, and you know what I mean, and that's not the point here. But if you've got a service that can deliver that kind of one bill with integration, and they can save you money, that's the reason that we put people onto you. Because we wouldn't. Many people have approached us in the past and to do certain. Oh, can we get access to your client base? Because obviously there's a lot of this going on, there's a lot of that going on, and we just kind of said no,
Yeah.
because they're just using that as a sales tool. But when you can actually see a benefit, I mean, we don't share our client base with anybody. I mean, we if we talk to our clients, talk to them about what our partners can do, and then if that's something they're interested in, we just ping a referral email and go, go speak to them, because it's not something we want to get in the middle of. It's because it's not something we necessarily understand.
Yeah, and that's it. I think you touched upon it there, like having the ease of something built for you in terms of a gateway, and then just being able to plug in and accept payments. We see it. Stripe have been the market leader in this over the last 15, 20 years, and it's become a huge name. And it's very good. I don't really knock Stripe, other than people use Stripe because it's very quick to deploy, and they've got the tech side very much nailed down. However, it's great when you're set up and you start up and you want to start taking payments. However, over time, it can be quite burdensome because Stripe charges very high fees on cards. And so business is great. Deploy it. Let's go. It's simple, easy, developer, no time on that. But over time, those costs will add up because you're paying 1.55% on every single card most of the time with Stripe. And so for us, it's to be frank, it's catching up on the tech side. It's having the right solution that's quick and have those in market, and use partners such as yourself to really deploy that properly. But it's ultimately about saying, that payments shouldn't cost that much, right? To have them slick and simple, they don't need to cost that much. So let's try and find that middle solution.
It's actually quite interesting you mentioned that that percentage. The reason it's interesting is I do a bit of investing in other businesses, or try to, if it's something that piques my interest. It's not something. I mean, it's certainly not a day-to-day job for me. And I was chatting to someone recently who'd put a line on their expenses sheet, and it said credit card charges. And I looked at the number at the top, and I looked at the number on the cost. And I went, bloody hell! And actually, there was in brackets Stripe, and there was a percentage, and it's a lot higher than the number you just gave me. So it does. But the problem is, I guess, if it's very easy to integrate with, then it's making that integration leap as well, isn't it? But yeah, okay, I take your point. Okay, so where do you think the future of payments are going? If our listeners were planning next 5 years, what do you think it would look like, and what steps do property management companies need to take to keep up with these changes?
Yeah, I think sitting in the financial sector as such, and having been in this for 10, 12 years now, you look at the FinTech space, it's been trodden out for a while now. You see these articles, this is the death of backs, is this the death of cards, and sort of these blogs anticipating the death of these sort of typical payment methods that businesses are so used to. And I don't think either are going away anytime soon. I think in the next 5 years, card payments will still be very prevalent. Some would argue Apple, Google Pay have removed the need for a physical card, and that's true. But Apple, Google Pay, they're still pinned to an issued card from a bank account, and I think it's pretty critical if you've got a business today and you're accepting payments and you can't accept Apple and Google payments, then you probably need to look at that sooner rather than later. That's not something to wait 5 years for. That's here. Customers like it. You need to, going back to that point, offering services that customers like, how they like to pay, making sure you've got those channels, and that's one that capture and implement now. But one of the kind of technologies that I think it's already here. We're talking about the next 5 years, and it's already here. The next innovation that we'll see over 10 years, that's already in the market somewhere today. But open banking was kind of released 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it's a great solution. However, the traction in the market's not been great, really. There's from a public persona, a customer base of how people make payments, open banking is not that well recognized. And you may have listeners here today going, I have no idea what that is, open banking at all, which it's quite amazing considering it's been, the banks have had the capability to offer it, and there's a number of players in the market that offer it for the last 4 or 5 years. And open banking is, I talked down backs earlier, but open banking is backs with a slicker technology wrapper around it. You send a customer a payment link, they have an option within that payment link to select, pay by my bank, collect that on the customer clicks that, it opens up their mobile banking app. The mobile banking app's already got that pre-registered payment amount that says there's been an API call here that says you need to make whatever it is, £150 payment. Do you accept? Customer clicks, yeah, authorize that. Face ID picks it up, it calls them back, transaction gets paid. And the reason why I think it's something for businesses to look at is we've talked about fees quite a lot. There are fees to card payments. There are fees to open banking payments. However, they should be lower than what you accept on cards. And we talk about, it bridges that gap between having a BACS payment that's completely free, but then customer has to manually enter in lots of information. You might be waiting for them to go and do that. Having that open banking availability means it's there and it's on a customer smartphone and it's on their laptop and they can click in and they can make that payment. And the UX journey means it's a couple of clicks on a button and that payment settles. So it's that quicker UX, it's that quicker way to get paid, it's that cheaper way to get paid. And ultimately the amount settles quicker, with the sort of fastest time you receive a card payment today is around the next working day. Yeah. The BACS transfer, it's instant. Similarly, with an open banking transfer, it's an instant real-time payment into your account. So I don't know, are you kind of aware of open banking yourself? You're a man with a finger on the pulse, Brian. You aware of open banking? Is this conversation you've talked about with property managers?
Ever described me as that ever before. I don't think anyone will ever again.
To compliment you on your own podcast, right?
Do you know, it's funny actually because the only time I've ever used it was when Helen, who's our head of people and culture, and I don't know, someone in the organisation had a baby or something like that. I don't actually remember the circumstance. And we wanted to send something. She said, look, I'll do it. And I said, look, I'll pay for it personally. And she said, well, I'll pay it because you're away. And then so she sent me this link and it was like bang, 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 bang. And it was so simple. And that is the only time in my life I've ever used it. But yes, I do get it. I mean, at the end of the day, the processing of card payments costs are still, even no matter, there's not a race to the bottom. There's no point in doing it for, people have to make money, right? So, but, okay, if it's excessive, then it shouldn't be. But certainly open banking is a thing that could reduce cost because obviously the cost is less than credit cards or debit cards in general.
That's it.
But I mean, I'm not sure. It would be really interesting to get some stats on the age demographic of who uses that sort of stuff. I don't know where you get those stats for because I see my son who pays for everything. The guy only ever gets his laptop out if I send something to him by email. He's 21 and 24 now. 21 and about to be 24 this year, so I was close. And they use this stuff all the time. So it'd be really interesting. I mean, you're talking about the death of credit cards. Our clients, property management companies still accept checks. And everyone said 25 years ago checks would be dead, or maybe 20. Yeah. So, and they're still around, So I don't know whether it is an age demographic or whether someone's more technical savvy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you mentioned there, right? The younger generation is always young generation. I don't really fit in that anymore. I sit in my 30s. I'm still millennial, maybe. Let's call it that. But it's just that provision of offering every channel of accepting payments, rather than just saying, we only accept checks, or we can only come in and pay cash, or you have to come in and pay on a card terminal in the store. You're going to be waiting for someone to do that. You want to just put things in front of people where they can go, I can pay now. And it's a different product and it's not particularly relevant for property management, but that has really been why buy now, pay later has grown so much. It's not because people, in some cases, sure, it might be because people want a credit facility, but most of the time it's because it sits on a checkout journey. And where you go and you buy something, you get to the end and you have to manually enter in a card number, or there's a nice button there that says pay by Klarna. And you click that, and within a couple of clicks, you've paid it. You either pay it on the spot, you can say, just defer that payment, I'll pay it in 30 days' time. Yeah. And that is the reason why these kind of things have picked up, because it's just made all of us are getting lazier and we expect things to be very quick and simple, and that kind of Amazon journey of buying something, having the availability to just provide those payments quick and easy, couple of taps, you're going to get paid quicker. You're not going to be chasing them. You're not going to be worrying about invoices being in arrears. You're going to just get paid quicker if you put those solutions in front of people.
Yeah. And it also means that people can make a decision on how they pay quicker as well if you give them all those options. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so final question. Are there any developments, features, or innovations in the pipeline that you're excited about within Blink or within the market? I mean, we've spoken about instant bank pay, but from a technology point of view, anything else?
Yeah, I think, from Blink's point of view, I think it's just about providing a continuous new ways to accept card payments, right? We've talked about it quite a lot on this. We've got a good stack of solutions today, but we're always sort of open to feedback, and we're always looking at the market and seeing how's that changing, how our customer trends, how the way that people want to make payments changing. For merchants as well, we're sort of asking merchants all the time, and we have a section on the platform where people can make these feedback requests, whether that's merchants saying, I want a way to be able to ring fence some money off a customer's card for a little bit, and I want to set different times and amounts that transaction goes out, such as a deposit today, a further amount next week, a final settlement in a month. It's all about just little enhancements to make card payments simpler. But for us, selfishly, we operate in the UK market. We want to expand. We want to grow our presence in Europe. We want to offer our platform across Europe and wider markets. And then really looking at the industry, and what I think excites me. I'm boring. It's open banking. I'm waiting. I've been sat there watching it be deployed and not get taken up. And I think it's a massive opportunity. If I was sat there as a business owner, whether I've got card terminals in a restaurant or anything, I would make those card terminals only accept an open banking transaction via a mobile app. It would be so much quicker for my reporting, my accepting payments. It's waiting for these big players to deploy it. And as soon as they do, and it will become the sort of mainstay in the market, and everyone will use that.
Excellent. Okay, that's great. It's been fab to have you on. Do you want to give me some predictions for the autumn test before we go? So, who do we have in Murrayfield? I know we have South Africa, because I have a 6'10" South African pal who lives in London, who comes up and sings the South African national anthem, whatever the 10 languages are at the beginning, and scares the crap out of most of the people who sit beside me. But never mind. What do you think? Do you think we're going to do well?
South Africa, it's a good time to play South Africa a year after the World Cup, isn't it? They sort of enter their cycle before they start it up again in 3 years' time. So let's be optimistic, right? Scotland to sneak it. 25-21, Scotland. There you go.
Okay, all right. I'm going to write that down.
Worth buying tickets for that.
Sorry?
Okay.
You need to find tickets for that.
Worth buying tickets for that one. I mean...
You do.
Yeah. Who else we got?
I need to check.
There you go.
I need to check how many... I've got 4 tickets for Murrayfield, and I don't know how many of them are used. So I need to check, because my 2 kids come to them normally, but if one of them can't make it, I'll give you a shout. Yeah. So that's all right. And I cannot for the life of remember.
Nice. Reminds me to make a call to my dad to see who's got the tickets.
Yeah, I cannot for the life of remember.
Probably Fiji, which is probably the game my dad will offer me the tickets for that.
Does he have season pass for Murrayfield?
Yeah, he's got the benches up there, so we share them out. So I've not been for a while, so it's my turn. So maybe I'll get the South Africa ones.
Good. Listen, thanks very much for coming on. Thank you.
Pleasure, Brian.
Thanks.